Hi guys. I don't know what the hell is going on, but problem after problem after problem. Right before I was to go live, my Verizon hotspot suddenly disconnected, but from the subscriber who has a cell phone, said that apparently Verizon is down. Can you hear me? Southern California, Central Arizona, and the Northeast United States, Verizon is down. Can you hear me? Okay, good. But let's just check this out. So the Phoenix area and Los Angeles and all of these areas, apparently Verizon is not doing very well. Wow. All right. All right, I'm going to tell you a few things. New phone. I literally feel sick and scared of it. But I thought, okay, the way my life is going, with being here, there, and everywhere, internet outages going down, this is my only connection, okay? It's my only connection. And I can't lose that connection. You know, the 14 hours in the other place in Arizona where I was, I really had a very, very hard time. Understand this. When you are completely alone, and I mean completely alone, it is very hard, very challenging. So, I also did this because I thought that I could learn how to live stream from the phone and do something different. I've had to go back to Verizon about 6 or 7 times. All of the problems. Today, I had to go back because I realized they had never transferred my contacts. And it takes forever for some reason. So, when the internet was down, I was supposed to be live. I went to call Sherry. The contacts are in there. But then I get a message that says, what did it say? Oh, it's on my phone. I'm in my camera. Okay. It said that I was not registered with any network and I can only make emergency calls. The other problems, it was a problem every flippin' day trying to get confirmation from the place in Montana. It was a Verizon, account, but it's a subsidiary, a small subsidiary, and I had to wait forever to get just a confirmation. But going there, it's far away. I don't like having problems all the flippin' time. So Sherry, I tried to call you and realized you were going to be the first call on this that I hate. And And I don't even know if I have the learning curve to learn. I may very well just go back to that flip top because my brain is just it's been fried. It's really been fried. And not having any support or anywhere to go as an outlet for how I'm feeling, it's very, very difficult. Very difficult. And it's so weird for me to do this because it's like the chat, you're off doing something else, I'm here speaking something, and it's so like forget it. Let's just go to what I have for you.
Give me love, give me all your love, oh, 'cause I want you. No one else makes me feel this way, don't know what you do. Hold my hand, could you hold my hand, look me in the eyes. You and me, yeah, that's all I need, and I'll be alright.
Very sweet, and this was posted by none other than Sherry, who is a moderator in this chat. I will post her channel link. It's a new channel. Come over and support Sherry. The link is in the chat. Yeah, click on the link and get the subscriber numbers up. Thank you, Sherry.
We've been sold a false narrative, and I think it's really important for Jews everywhere to stand up and say, I'm not okay with this, and this is not being done for me.
As a Jewish person, I'm here to object to the indiscriminate killing of men, women, children in Gaza, the disproportionate response of Israel to October 7th and the events there, and also to show solidarity with the people of Gaza and also the Jewish people here. Jewish people are not a monolith that all think the same. London is not a no-go zone for Jewish people, and to kind of counter some of the ridiculous propaganda that you hear.
We come from a people who have been targeted and persecuted and genocided in the past, and it's quite painful, I think, to feel like this is being undertaken in my name, and it certainly does not reflect my Jewish values, which are life for all people.
As a Jewish person, I'm here, proud to be here to say, not in my name. The world needs to wake up to the double standards that are being applied. I believe in international law. I believe the Jewish people have been oppressed for many thousands of years. Anti-Semitism is a danger, but none of that justifies the indiscriminate bombing and killing of Palestinian civilians. None whatsoever.
As a Jewish person, as a human being, I know that using starvation as a weapon of war is immoral, it's illegal. Even our own foreign secretary is talking about how frustrated he is with the Israeli government starving the Palestinian population. It has to end now.
As a Jewish person, I'm out today with the march supporting peace for Palestine because I feel that having gone through what we've gone through as Jews in history, we should understand what it's like to be persecuted. I'm Jewish and I'm here and I feel very safe. I actually feel very at home in this crowd of people who just want peace.
The idea that London is a no-go zone for Jews is just for the birds. It's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. I've been here every Shabbat with my kippah on. I've had nothing but love, nothing but welcome from everyone I've spoken to.
It's not true. I live in London. I have lived in London all my life, and there is nowhere that I would not be comfortable to go. I am amazed when I hear that, and it's very, very dangerous because there are Jewish people I know, Jewish men and women of goodwill, who are scared to come to London, baselessly, because they can't avoid listening to what people who should know better say.
Politicians are pushing it as just basically propaganda to push their own narrative, to pretend that that there isn't another voice that opposes the genocide going on in Gaza, and to try and weaponize anti-Semitism to a degree. But as there's thousands of Jewish people who don't think that at all, feel very comfortable in London and oppose the events in Gaza right now.
These Jews have come out specially. There were 500 of us meeting outside Belgrave Square. We've all come here on purpose to show that that's rubbish.
Look around you. There's a large number of Jews here, and we feel at ease. I'm here today as a Jew to make sure that there's a Jewish voice on this march. There is a large section of the Jewish communities that are appalled and don't know what to do in the face of the Board of Deputies and the Leadership Councils. I'm here today because ethnic cleansing is fundamental to the Zionist project.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Occupation no more.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Israel is a terror state.
As a Jewish person in London at weekends, I don't believe these statements that it's unsafe. I walk around, there's no sense of embattlement. There's a great sense of embattlement of certain parts of the Jewish community.
There's always this talk about people feeling uncomfortable when people draw attention to to the, to what's happening in Gaza. But we're feeling uncomfortable about what's happening in Gaza. Why is that written off as unimportant compared to feeling uncomfortable, that you draw attention to it?
We've been marching before very often. The last 3 times I've gone on this march, it's been with my Muslim friends. I don't feel threatened by them, and they certainly don't feel threatened by me.
I've not experienced any anti-Semitism or anything that's made me feel uncomfortable. And I do understand why Jews are feeling scared to be in central London when this protest is going on. I think before I came to the protest, the first time that I saw it going past my building, I was actually a bit, I was feeling a bit unsafe because I didn't really know what to expect. But having been here, I understand that that's not how it is at all. And I think that if more Jewish people come out here, they'll see that actually, holding pro-Palestinian flags and scarves and wearing pro-Palestinian scarves does not mean that someone is anti-Semitic. It means that they're supporting the people of Palestine and they just want peace and freedom for the people of Palestine.
Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide!
Stop the genocide, yeah. How about it? Didn't mean for that to happen. So, they're talking about not experiencing any kind of anti-Semitism. And what happened to some other people in Britain?
In their own homes in East London, and they were kept in custody until the very early hours of this morning. And it's important. I mean, Carol and Dave Buxton and Trish O'Hara have often watched this show. I don't know if they're watching, but they've had a terrible experience. And I've got a statement to read from Carol about what happened. On the 1st of March at 5 to midnight, there were 4 police officers at our front door. In our pajamas, my husband and I were arrested for racial harassment under the Public Order Act, Section 4A, for the allegation that we hissed at a councillor in a council budget meeting on the 29th of February. A third member of our group was arrested at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. There were around 25 plus members of the public in the gallery, many concerned about the loss of their livelihoods with the closure of an indoor market. Others were concerned about rises in rents and council tax alongside millions in cuts. The councillor concerned has been happy to be named in the national press, and he is Joshua Garfield. We are accused of hissing at him, which we understand is anti-Semitism. We're innocent of the charges and feel that while the police officers on an individual level behave professionally, we've been made an example of for political ends. Those daring to organise and speak out will feel the full force of the state. We were released after 24 hours and are on bail. Our arrests follow on from Sunak's speech. The Tories and the Labour Party are in trouble. The Labour Party, as we knew it, is dead. We now need a new alliance of groups to represent us. Thank you for all the messages of solidarity. So yeah, it's a bit more complicated than I thought about the arrests. I mean, it seems like Trish was arrested later, but basically, it's with this Sunak statement has had repercussions, and maybe our enemies politically are using that to silence us in horrific ways. I mean, being in custody for that long is can't imagine how it must feel. So is there anyone who wants to leave a message of solidarity? I'd like some short messages of solidarity for Carol, Dave and Trish. I don't know if they're watching. I'll start with Norman because he's just put his hand up. Norman.
Yeah, no, it's very worrying. I've got a lot of sympathy for Carol and her husband and anyone else who's been caught up in this, because this is clearly the witch hunt that was started in the days of Jeremy Corbyn, now just continued to a new level. So that instead of just being expelled from the Labour Party, they're going to put us in prison. I mean, this is absolutely scarifying. Or they'll try and frighten us anyway. They're trying to intimidate, use the law to intimidate us. And the Tories and Labour are absolutely united in doing that.
I'm going to go to Averill in Cambridge.
Yes, just to extend solidarity, and also it's interesting the timing. There's been an article in the Times that was online about midnight Friday into Saturday, and I think it's in the print version, where there seems to be a lot of focus on what's been happening in local councils. So people going to make a point or turn up to a public meeting at their local council. And they gave several examples, one of which is a meeting that was held at a Cambridge City budget meeting, which in fact that ended up, it was actually handled quite sensitively, and the relationships with the council are very good. But you wouldn't know that looking at the article in the Times.
So, what the hell is hissing? What is hissing? Is it like, and that you get locked up for? Really? Well, really. And that's our world today. Food is airdropped in northern Gaza. This isn't wonderful. It's humiliating.
Ya Allah. Ya Allah.
Yeah, I understand. I understand why she wrote, "It's not wonderful, it is humiliating." Do you? Do any of you understand why? They should not be having to go through this experience at all. At all. So, they're airdropping food and still bombing them, stealing their land, killing them. And here, this Columbia University Vice President Jerry Rosberg, unable to respond when asked if Palestinians are human.
Answer his question. It's a yes or no. Question. It's a simple question. It's a yes or no. Are Palestinians human? Honestly, doubt. Answer that. Answer that. Human. Are Palestinians human? You can't even say yes. You can't even say Palestinians are human. I refuse to be intimidated. How is that being intimidated? Intimidated. When the school. Answer his question. It's a yes or no. Question.
This is not a detainment camp in World War II, nor a prison in the Holocaust. This is Gaza in 2024. Rounding them up for what? Something good? Got a little food? And now just stand in line? How anyone, and I don't care what religion you are, what you're about, how anyone cannot see that this is a Holocaust of a people. Never again. It's happening again. And the same people who were victims of it the first time turn around and be the perpetrator of it now. Wow. Wow, wow. Migrants everywhere. El Paso, Texas. Migrants get porta potties. What do the homeless get? Their camps ripped down and they get shooed away.
See the wristbands? Wristbands. 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 We're going on the wristbands. Wristband. Wristband. Wristbands.
And they're all men, and they have their Catholic Charities sweatsuits on. Mexican corporate press reports that 3 more United Nations facilities support criminal aliens coming to America, launched in America.
La Organización Internacional para las Migraciones, que depende de la ONU, inauguró un centro multiservicios para personas migrantes en Ciudad Juárez. En este espacio se van a ofrecer servicios médicos de primer nivel como optometría, asistencia psicosocial, y los consulados de diversos países también tendrán de manera presencial una representación, sobre todo de Guatemala. En la frontera de Tijuana también se abrió un centro multiservicios como este y se abrirá uno más en Tapachula, Chiapas. La Organización Internacional para las Migraciones, que depende...
Wow. No, this isn't deliberate. These are all these people that it just, you know, it's organic that all of these people are seeking asylum for, oh my God, United Nations here, there, and everywhere. And they're flooding these migrants into Western countries. And still, we do nothing. You want to talk humiliating? That's humiliating. Terrorist using fake IDs to cross border raises red flags for FBI director. More warnings.
Few different categories of people that we have concerns about. When a known or suspected terrorist, as in known that they are a known or suspected terrorist, is apprehended at the border, I'm confident that in the vast majority of instances, there's very close latch-up between FBI and DHS on it. The bigger concern is a situation, for example, where somebody presents, say, fake identification documents at the border, and there's not biometrics to match up, so there's no way to be able to know that they're not who they say they are. Then they get into the country. Then somehow we find out that they, in fact, are somebody who's on the list. At that point, then we've got to go hunt down and try to find them.
Hunt down and try to find
Kate Middleton has ignored...
Anybody concerned about this? No, they're not concerned about us. And they're not concerned. But they're putting out actually factual information, because it's not just the FBI director stating and claiming that we've got terrorists entering our country. You would think that Americans would at least unite on that, right? And speak up and do something. Biden finds $300 million more dollars for arms for Ukraine as our own stockpile is diminished. U.S. Department of Defense has admitted not only that it is out of money to procure replacement weapons after vast amounts of Americans' weaponry were shipped to Ukraine over the past 2 years, but the U.S. defense budget is vastly overdrawn to the tune of $10 billion, dwindling U.S. stockpiles for America's defense needs. Yeah, and yet, as the Associated Press reports Tuesday, somehow they magically came up with hundreds of millions of dollars more for Ukraine. Now, we've been talking war here, war there, China, our greatest enemy, national security threat, and all these migrants and the terrorists coming over, and the sleeper cells that have been actually acknowledged by government officials, the FBI, yada, yada, yada. So, we have a dwindling stockpile of weapons. Do you think maybe Americans are being set up to endure a whole lot of death and suffering from war that we might experience on our own land? Do you think Americans are actually going to avoid the karmic response for all of the suffering that we have caused others? No, we ain't. We're not going to avoid it at all. In fact, many, I believe, are already suffering it. You know, when you look at all of the migrant crime now, these people don't give a shit about Americans. In fact, they hate Americans because of what we have done to their countries. We be a stupid people, man. We thought we were hot shit. Stupido. Suspect arrested in Times Square. Another migrant attack on police officers.
So Shawnee and Dan, good morning to you. About a month and a half after that January 27th assault here in Times Square, police are still looking for all of those who are responsible. The city continues to buckle under the weight of its responsibility to not only care for its own, but also to care for the more than 180,000 asylum seekers who have arrived at its doorstep. Police just released these pictures of two more suspects who are wanted in connection with the assault of two police officers outside of a migrant shelter in Times Square in January. Yesterday morning, police say they arrested 20-year-old Edgarlise Vegas and charged her with assault on a police officer. She lived at an address on Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn. Police would not confirm her immigration status. The assault on the officers drew national attention. Congressman Anthony D'Esposito and Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, both Republican members of New York's delegation, invited the officers and their wives to last week's State of the Union address. Speaking of Washington, that is exactly where more than 50 clergy members plan to travel today to lobby lawmakers for federal assistance to help offset the costs of the migrant crisis. Reverend Edward Richard Hines, a minister from Brooklyn, says he and other faith leaders from all 5 boroughs have meetings scheduled with both of New York's senators, Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand, as well as House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who represents Brooklyn. The city has cared for more than 180,000 asylum seekers and counting who have arrived at its doorstep. The Social Services Commissioner revealed at a city council hearing yesterday that the average cost per night of caring for a single migrant household, known as the per diem rate, stands at $388. That's $5 more than the cost that Mayor Eric Adams cited in August, but down from a peak per diem rate of $394 in October, according to a mayoral spokesman. Nearly
Biden says he's counting on the border action happening by itself. Wow. Perhaps His most baffling comments on the border to date were Monday, when he told a reporter that he's counting on some action to fix the crisis at the border to happen by itself. Wow.
President, when is a border executive action coming? An executive action on the border.
Counting on the border action happened by itself. They're passing it.
But Congress can't come to an agreement.
Well, they haven't yet.
Help them.
They haven't yet. I'm helping them.
That's your president, Americans. And obviously, you love it. Because you ain't doing anything about it. What are we supposed to do, Carol? Rise up. Rise up. Speak out. Demand better. And if you don't, regardless of the result of your action, if you don't do that, you have no self-respect whatsoever. Illegal migrants cause carnage as they trash a hotel in Ireland because they didn't like the food. Nice, huh? Mr. Garland, can I vote in France and Spain? Without election integrity, we do not have the semblance of a democratic country of any sort. Specifically, in our case, a constitutional republic. No, and we haven't had it for a very, very long time. And unfortunately, an awful lot of Americans have no clue how our country is supposed to operate as a constitutional republic. So if you don't know how your government is supposed to be operating, you'll just take everything that you get. Look into it. We're not a democracy. Okay, so Garland said on the eve of the Super Tuesday primaries that states requiring voter ID at the polls and restricting drop boxes are suppressing black voters. Why? Why only black voters? Oh, well, because it's all a fucking lie. Yeah. Dogs speak out much more than Americans. Yeah. That is why we are challenging, this is Garland, that is why we are challenging efforts by states and jurisdictions to implement discriminatory, burdensome, and unnecessary restrictions on access to the ballot, including those related to mail voting, the mail-in voting, the use of drop boxes, and the voter ID requirements. With all due respect, stop that. Stop. He does not deserve any respect. These people do not deserve respect. Respect is earned. When they're destroying your country, when they're spewing lies every single day, they do not deserve any respect. With all due respect, Mr. Garland, that is not what you are doing. You are making it easier to stuff the ballot through the mail, in those drop boxes, and now in person for individuals sans ID, without ID, some of whom could easily be illegal immigrants. Most people know this. The majority of Americans do not believe we have fair elections anymore. You are just adding to the perception. No shit. Okay. But this has been going on for such a long time. And people speak words like me. They write words like him. And nothing happens. You know, it's just this futile game of folly that we've got going, which renders life meaningless. And here, Haiti. All right, so the leader of Haiti has stepped down, the president. And Haiti, the gangs have taken over. A whole lot of killing and suffering going on in Haiti. Thank you, USA, USA, USA. Can't separate out what's going on in Haiti with our fabulous American influence.
And is giving away his billions now with the same determination that he made them in places like Haiti, a country that has less money in the bank than he does. Last month, he brought the First Lady with him for a look at some of the projects his foundation is funding.
This is Mr. George Soros, and he's going to be helping the hospital.
This year, Soros plans to give away almost $500 million around the world.
Everyone knows, of course, Hillary's belief that it takes a village, which only makes sense, after all, in places like Haiti, where she's taken a number of them. Thank you.
And is giving away his billions now with the same...
I see someone write, we used to be the good guys. Now, not so great. Or, that's a paraphrase. We never were the good guys. We were not the good guys. We were sure indoctrinated to believe that we were morally superior than any other people in the world. We were exceptional. Wow. Do you think that kind of stoked the narcissism of Americans? Their inflated egos? And yeah, people are flipping out of their minds.
Anna.
That's right, you guys. It's pretty busy out here on a Monday afternoon, Monday evening. It's even busier on a Sunday afternoon when this all went down. There's a private dock here behind me. Not just anybody can pull up and use it. And when a worker told a man on a Lamborghini yacht yesterday that he couldn't use that dock, well, the guy on the yacht got a lot of attention for all the wrong reasons. When this $4.5 million Lamborghini yacht rolled into the Marriott Marina yesterday afternoon, everyone stopped to stare, take pictures and videos. One of those people was Joseph Holt, who works at the private dock here. But when the boat tried to pick up someone, Joseph had to stop them.
I told him respectfully that he couldn't be there, and I honestly was hoping to maybe have a conversation with him about his cool boat. But yeah, it completely went the other way.
AJ Thakor owns the boat. He's also known as Ace Rogers on social media. CBS 8 has done stories about his philanthropy and business, but that's not the Ace Joseph met yesterday.
It escalated immediately. It was 0 to 100 immediately.
Joseph says Ace threatened his life. It's pretty serious. What do you mean he was threatening your life?
He was saying, I will kill you, like over and over and over.
Someone even posted video of it to YouTube. Joseph says Ace gets out his wallet and continues his vicious tirade toward him as he throws $100 bills at him and into the water.
I'm a minimum wage worker, and he was commenting on...
He was saying that?
Yeah, on my status of who I am just because of my job. He was saying, I'm nobody, I'm nothing, I work a silly job. He said that he knows people, he has connections, and he can change my life and ruin it.
You can see Joseph standing on the dock as the boat pulls away.
I didn't really even know how to process it. I really was just trying to restrain myself from potentially getting fired from my job or, just stepping out of line. The only thing I did was give him the bird.
You can see that on the video too, but it's what Ace did next that Joseph says upset him most.
He had dropped his pants and started to make gestures at everybody that was watching, and me.
It is in our American psyche that people who have money are better than those that don't. And that goes for not just the rich, but everyone in all of the classes. You're somebody if you have, you're nothing and ignored if you don't have. There's an awful lot of our psyche, collective psyche, that needs to change. Because it's doing great harm. Now, okay. Whoa. 2 women allegedly drove dead man to bank in weekend at Bernie's style plot to withdraw his money. 2 women. Okay. 2 Alabama women attempt stunt to drain dead man's bank account. 2 Alabama women. And the article says 2 Ohio women, but 2 very sick women, clearly, propped up a dead man in their car, to withdraw hundreds of dollars from his bank account before dropping the corpse off at a hospital. Now, how does that idea even filter into somebody's brain? I watch and I think to myself, how do people even think like this? How do they even think? How does it enter their radar? Their thoughts. How do people get ideas like this? Because it's not anything that would dawn on me. And how could they think that they're going to get away with it? Exceptional we are. Morally superior too. The women who were not related to Lehman, that's the guy who died. He was 80 years old, Douglas Lehman. They lived with him in the city, about 50 miles from Cleveland, removed the body from his home with the help of a third person. Oh, man. There's a kennel behind me. Live and learn. Didn't know. They propped him up on the passenger seat so that the teller could see him. The bank had allowed this previously, as long as they were accompanied by him. Wow. I've always been fascinated with human behavior. There sure is a lot to work with now. Because an awful lot of individuals treat people like insignificant, they treat people like shit. Biden's budget is unmitigated bullshit. No, it can't be. Everything is unmitigated bullshit today. Home buyers need to earn 80% more than they did 4 years ago to afford a house in this market. 80% more. How about the layoffs? Let's just take a look at some layoffs. Layoffs here. Target is laying off 200 marketing positions. I'm only going to read the numbers, not the percentages. UL Solutions, Melville, New York, 61. Petaluma Health Center, 32. St. Joseph's College of Maine 10. Republican National Committee 60 plus. John Deere 150 production workers. Ojai Unified School District in California up to 16 layoffs. Texas Tech Public Media 10. Superior School District, Wisconsin 25. And Coachella Valley Unified School District 70. A whole lot of schools are dumping an awful lot of employees. North Shore Medical Center, wow. That's got to be Long Island. I know that medical center well. 152 layoffs. 70 plus from Juneau School District in Alaska. 80 from schools in Cincinnati. 41 layoffs, Highmark in Pennsylvania. About 700 from Fidelity Investments. Amity School Board, New York, 47. Meta, 50. Delta Dental, 137. 300 from Catholic Charities. 75 from Nevada Unified School District. Wow. A lot of schools. Manhattan Beach Unified School District, 38 layoffs. Enthusiast Gaming, 45. ExxonMobil in Denbury, 111. 30 from Modesta School, City Schools. Colorado Public Radio, 15. Wow. 750 globally from Lumentum. I don't know what this is. Lumentum. Fidelity International, 1,000. Binance, 200. Kaiser Permanente, 50. Packers Sanitation in Colorado, 175. American Jewish World Service, 12. Next Energy, 36. Stellantis, Toledo's Jeep plant, more layoffs. The auto workers are getting hit hard. Funny, after they came to an agreement with that strike, thousands have been laid off. 341 from that Jeep plant. Stendaner, 320. Fintech, 40. Sumitomo Pharma, 400. Evonik, 2,000. Wow. A whole lot are getting laid off. Not too many are getting jobs. This is the... Who's hiring? That was layoffs. Here's the closings. A whole lot are closing down. And this is not, a exclusive list of all layoffs, hirings, and closings. China dumping U.S. wheat shipments at record pace. So, I don't know about you, but when I read articles and I expand out, okay, I think to myself, China dumping wheat, and a whole lot of it. U.S. farmers. Dumping U.S. wheat. U.S. farmers. Holy shit. And then China. Let's say they dump more imports into China, but they withhold their exports. We're screwed. We rely on China for virtually everything. Our great enemy. China, the world's top agricultural importer, has canceled 500,000 tons of wheat from the U.S. over the past week. So, this is 2001, 30,000 tons they canceled. And as you can see, the increase has been pretty significant. Wow. And of course, there's going to be a whole lot of U.S. farmers affected. Modern leadership, a perfect blend of delusion, dishonesty, and distraction. Can you hear the dogs barking? Can you hear the jets flying? As is historically typical of all corrupted and objectively bankrupt nations, the truth is often as hard to find as an honest man in Parliament. Don't we know it? And why can't we get rid of all of these disgusting lowlives? Why? Why do we put up with it? Puberty blockers will no longer be prescribed to children in Britain due to potentially severe negative effects. I'll post the link to this. Maybe you can circulate it. Because American children are really getting their lives destroyed by doctors.
Let's just bring you a bit of breaking news, which may be of interest to some of you. It's about puberty blockers. Now, these are drugs that are used to delay the changes of puberty in transgender youngsters. In terms of how they are prescribed by the NHS, there has been a lot of controversy over the last few years about this. At the moment, they are only prescribed to children attending gender identity services as part of clinical research, and they are not routinely offered to children at gender identity clinics, but they are still offered. Well, the government, NHS England, has just confirmed that children will no longer be prescribed puberty blockers at gender identity clinics. This is coming from NHS England. It just broke in the last few moments.
There, breaking news. Now, why most people will never see that they are being conned. Decent article. I'll link to it if you want to read it. But once again, it's all about politics. And that's not the only reason, but most people will never see that they are being conned because they cannot see that they are being conned, have been conned, and that nothing will ever change. They have been programmed and hypnotized for such a long time and are surrounded by others to whom the same is true, that they simply cannot manage to wake up. Many will somewhat realize that something is wrong, but even that process is controlled in such a way that those who think they are awake are driven into the arms of the desired saviors, so they will fall for the illusion of change and only be manipulated from one illusion into another. There's an awful lot of people who don't want to do anything. There are so many reasons why we have people. It's not just about being so indoctrinated, but for some it is. It's not only because they're hypnotized, but that's part of it. But it's also, we have a deep ingrained selfishness and self-centeredness. And anything that upsets the individual American on the whole, they don't want to know and they don't care. They haven't grown up. They're children. In fact, that is mentioned in this article. Here. Let's face it, if you still don't see through that as an adult and you still go to meetings of political parties where you are molded with the next innovative idea to go ahead to the next puppet show in which Punch and Judy have been replaced by new puppets in the puppet show, then you are still a toddler watching the puppet show with fascination. Grow up. Well, Americans don't want to grow up. They don't want to do the work to mature, to become adults. And yes, the majority of Americans are children. And then they hear mommy and daddy abuse them, humiliate them, have utter contempt for them, and they bow down to them because they're children. You know, that's what children do with mommy and daddy. And in order to survive, they have to think mommy and daddy are right. You know, children don't have the power to do anything to change their circumstance. But adults do. But a whole lot of it is just not wanting to do anything. You know, and I've met a lot of awake. And it's sad to see that they too don't care. So, you know, it's I read some comments, and some of the comments, it's almost like the awake think they're better than the sleeping people. I think they're worse. I think they're worse. They have the knowledge and are not doing anything with it. You know, at least with the willfully ignorant who refuse to come out of their bubble, their comfortable bubble. Yes, they know something's wrong, but they don't have the knowledge. They would have to do the research to get the knowledge of the awake. But the awake, hey, I had these kind of ideas about the awake years and years and years ago, that they were going to do something. You know, that knowledge is power, but knowledge is power only if you take that knowledge and do something with it. That's where the power comes. No, it's not happening. So as far as I'm concerned, all of the awake who still think that they're better than those who are not, worse. You're worse. So get rid of that arrogance that makes you think you're so smart. No. Still children. We need to grow up here. Fast. I'll put the link into this that was sent to me by a subscriber. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but they're talking about weaponized surveillance in every home. Well, we know that. They're also talking about look out for Charlie and AI and all of the stuff that we've been talking about for years, you know, kind of tweaked and twerked with the new, you know, technologies. Yeah. And yeah, I see Marty writing, I do see some awake people think they're somehow superior. And what I was going to respond with just literally just left my brain. So, oh, here, and here, the unvaccinated. You know, I've seen other videos, not with this guy, but other people saying, pat yourself on the back, unvaccinated, for being so courageous and so this and so that. I don't. You know, I really, for those who had to face losing their job and said no to getting that new product, I will absolutely praise. mucho courage. When you're sacrificing, that's when those are the people that are really courageous, stood firm, took the knowledge and actually did something with it. For me not to get vaccinated, it was nothing. No hardship, nothing. And I think that's the case for an awful lot. Just, I didn't feel any pressure. There was no social pressure. There was no pressure from the doctor that I had in South Carolina. There was no pressure whatsoever. Now, for those who really felt the pressure, that may have been in different states, those who got out on the street and did something and protested, and yeah, my hat's off to them. But I think most just said, I'm not doing it, and they didn't feel much pressure about it, and voila. All right, well, no one should praise me. I sacrificed nothing, and I didn't feel any pressure to do it, and I didn't do it, so big deal.
Even if I were pollinated and fully vaccinated, I would admire the unvaccinated for withstanding the greatest pressure I've ever seen. From partners, parents, children, friends, colleagues, and even doctors. People who are capable of such personality, courage, and critical ability are undoubtedly the best part of humanity. They are everywhere, in all ages, levels of education, states, and ideas. They are of a special kind. They are the soldiers that every army of light wants to have in its ranks. They are the parent that every child wants to have, and the children that every parent dreams of having. They are beings above the average of their societies. They are the essence of the people who have, built all cultures and conquered horizons. They are there, next to you. They look normal, but they are superheroes.
I don't know. I don't look. It's once again putting people in categories: the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated. They're superheroes, the unvaccinated. I can't go there. But Linda B., my daughter lost her job, and almost lost her license to practice therapy. She fought it, won, then started her own practice. Yeah. That's sacrificing. Yeah, I don't, I mean, there's an awful lot of people who are even awake who got vaccinated because of having to keep their job, and then they're, reviled or degraded by those who are unvaccinated. There are so many things that go into individual decisions that no one knows. I've known vaccinated people, and they're awake. Why they did what they did. Am I going to stand in judgment about it? On the whole, we just have this is one of the reasons why, I stopped talking about doing things, collectively and organizing collectively to fight, the masses, though I always knew that it's local. It's your community that you need to be working in. Okay, I gave up, the idea that anybody would actually, become active in their community. Oh my God, I don't know you. Maybe you did. All right. But on the whole, we know because we see it, we're experiencing the evil, and it hasn't really been fought. So it's why I've gone to just get out there and help those in your community, you know, and help yourself by picking yourself up, raising your consciousness, doing that self-reflective work so you become a better human being. You know, stop putting people in categories of, you know, this or that, or and really try to work on how we think. It's very, very important. And I've seen, you know, so many people who are awake who rip to shreds people who were vaccinated and then suffer, you know, the consequences of it. That I don't understand, you know. And they speak as if they were, you know, they knew the person, and I was telling that person, you know, that they shouldn't do that, and then they went ahead and do it. But even still, you know, again, we don't know the reasons for people making their decisions. But when those decisions permanently harm them, you know, look at me. My life was destroyed by medications put on the market as safe. You know, my career was destroyed as an attorney. I couldn't practice anymore. And I've been struggling ever since. Having the stroke, having a whole lot of problems. Did I once think maybe I should do some research on those medications? No. I was an attorney. The bulk of an attorney's job is research. I didn't. And I got destroyed. And then I found out hundreds, now millions, have been destroyed. Was I stupid? Shit, yeah. Yeah. Was I indoctrinated, believing the doctors? Yeah. So, and the same thing, you know, now is happening to those who are harmed by that new product. They're ignored, they're vilified, they're told that, you know, they're making it up. Just like all of those harmed by medications on the market, whether they're psychiatric or not, there's an awful lot of medications that should not be on the market, and we know it. But their lives are being destroyed. And they're ignored, vilified, and told that they're faking it. We gotta change. That's all. We've got to become better human beings. So, and yeah, U.S. soldier defends Asian lady from a racist. I'm going to play this video, but there's one thing that I've heard, different circumstances, different people, different details, yada yada, but the same kind of, you don't tell me what to do. When you're doing something in public, you don't have a right to then claim that people shouldn't object to what you are doing in public.
You told her, go back to China, it's not China.
Look, your army outfit doesn't mean nothing. You want to do hand-to-hand combat outside, let me know anytime you want.
Okay, turn the camera off.
Anytime you want.
Turn the camera off, let's go outside.
Anytime you want.
Turn the
Let's
camera
go.
off, let's go outside.
Let's go.
Turn the camera off, let's go outside. You want to do hand-to-hand combat?
Yeah, hand-to-hand combat.
Come on.
Hand-to-hand combat.
Come on, let's go.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You ain't gonna do it.
Nah, come on, let's go outside.
You're all talk.
Come on.
You're all talk,
Let's
buddy.
go outside, come on.
You're all talk.
Put the camera down.
You're all talk.
Put the camera down.
You're gonna call the cops. They hit you.
No. No, go ahead.
You're gonna call the cops.
Go ahead and hit me. You said you want to do hand-to-hand
You're
combat.
gonna call the cops.
I'm right here. Come on.
Call the cops.
Come on.
Call the cops.
Look. Asians do a lot for this country, all right? Don't call her a communist
Don't
about
tell me
being
what
in
to
China,
do.
okay?
Don't ever tell me what to do.
Okay.
Don't ever tell me
right
what
now.
to do in my country.
Okay.
Don't ever tell me what to do in my country.
Why are you backing up? You scared?
Step back.
You scared? I'm not. It's a free
Okay.
country, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what not to do anything in
That's
your
right.
country. Okay, cool.
That's right.
Look, I knew you were scared. It's cool.
Scared of you?
He has every right. If you're being, well, especially with the racist comments, right? So I've been in that position where in public, suddenly I hear something and I will respond. I can't not. It's kind of automatic. And then people say, mind your own business. Fuck you. You made it my business. You put it in my face, my hearing range. You have made it my business. And same thing with seeing children be abused publicly. So, I can't stand when people make that claim. So, don't get fooled. 5 signs you're dealing with an evil person. Stoic proudness. I just came across this video, and I think probably an awful lot of you know the signs. I found it interesting though, and since today was just problem after problem after problem, and you know what? That causes a lot of stress, and I am feeling it. My body is very tense and sore, but good points that everybody needs to know, and I have had way too many people just like this in my life, awake or not.
What if I told you that uncovering their true intentions is within your grasp? Get ready for a riveting journey that will captivate you from start to finish as we unveil the secrets you need to know. Start by recognizing the controlling behaviors and understanding that they're not about your in your grasp. Get ready for a riveting journey that will captivate you from start to finish as we unveil the secrets you need to know. In today's exploration, we dive deep into the unsettling reality that lurks in our daily interactions. We're unraveling the mystery of don't get fooled. 5 signs you're dealing with an evil person. This isn't about the occasional bad day or misunderstanding. It's about identifying those who thrive in the shadows of manipulation, deceit, and harm. If you've ever felt uneasy about someone's actions but couldn't quite pinpoint why, this discussion is for you. Join me as we equip ourselves with knowledge, turning intuition into insight. 1. The mask of charm. Imagine meeting someone who immediately captivates you with their charm and charisma. They're attentive, engaging, and seem genuinely interested in everything you have to say. This initial encounter can leave you feeling valued and special, a testament to the person's apparent kindness and sociability. However, beneath this captivating exterior may lie a more sinister reality. The mask of charm is often the first sign you're dealing with an evil person, a master manipulator skilled in the art of deception. Why is charm used as a mask? Charm is a tool, a means to an end for those with malevolent intentions, it serves as a perfect cover, allowing them to draw others in, building a facade of trust and camaraderie. In this light, charm is not an expression of genuine affection, but a calculated strategy to win over, manipulate, and ultimately exploit. Recognizing the mask. The challenge lies in distinguishing between genuine charm and manipulative charisma. Pay attention to consistency. Is their interest in you sustained, or does it wane once they have what they want? Observe how they treat others, especially when they think no one is watching. A truly charming person maintains their demeanor regardless of the audience. In contrast, an evil person's charm fades when they no longer need to impress or when their objectives are met. The slip of the mask. Over time, the mask will slip, revealing the person's true intentions. This might manifest as a sudden disinterest in your needs, a shift towards more self-centered conversations, or even outright manipulation and deceit. The key is to trust your instincts. If something feels off, it likely is. Remember, a person's actions speak louder than their words. Consistent, genuine kindness is never conditional, nor is it a strategy to gain leverage. Reflective questions. 1. Have you ever encountered someone whose charm later revealed a darker side? How did you recognize the change? 2. What defenses can you put in place to stop yourself from falling for superficial charm? Viewers, share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. In our next section, we'll explore the absence of empathy, another critical sign of dealing with an evil person. Stay tuned and remember, understanding these signs is the first step in protecting yourself from potential harm. 2. Absence of empathy. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, is a cornerstone of human connection and compassion. It allows us to empathize with someone's joy or pain, creating bonds of understanding and care. However, a stark absence of empathy is a glaring sign you might be dealing with an evil person, a person who sees others not as individuals with feelings and rights, but as tools to be used for their ends. Understanding the absence of empathy. At its core, the absence of empathy is a failure to recognize and respect the emotional states of others. This deficit manifests in various troubling behaviors. Indifference to others' suffering, a lack of remorse for harmful actions, and an inability to genuinely celebrate someone else's successes. For the empathy deficient, the emotions and needs of others are either invisible or irrelevant. The impact of this absence. The ramifications of interacting with someone who lacks empathy are profound. Relationships become one-sided, with emotional needs being met only when they align with the manipulator's goals. Victims often feel misunderstood, undervalued, and isolated, as their emotional expressions are ignored or belittled. The absence of empathy in a person can create a dynamic where emotional abuse thrives, cloaked under the guise of tough love, indifference, or even hostility. Recognizing the signs. How can you identify someone with a significant lack of empathy? Look for patterns of behavior that dismiss or invalidate your feelings and those of others. Notice when someone consistently refuses to acknowledge the impact of their actions, especially when those actions cause harm. A telltale sign is a pattern of justifying cruel or hurtful behavior with excuses, or worse, blaming the victim for being too sensitive or overreacting. Strategies for interaction. Dealing with someone who lacks empathy requires strong boundaries and self-awareness. It's crucial to recognize that their inability to connect emotionally is not a reflection of your worth or the validity of your feelings. Seeking support from empathetic friends or professionals can provide the emotional understanding and validation that an empathy-deficient person cannot offer. Reflective questions. 1. Reflect on a time when you felt someone didn't understand or care about your feelings. How did it affect your interaction with them? 2. What are some ways you can protect your emotional well-being when dealing with someone who shows a significant lack of empathy? We'd love to hear your insights and strategies in the comments. In our journey to understand the traits of potentially malevolent individuals, the absence of empathy is a critical red flag. As we move forward, we'll explore another manipulative tool in their arsenal: mastery of manipulation. Stay with us as we continue to arm ourselves with knowledge and strategies to navigate these challenging interactions. 3. Mastery of manipulation. Those with malicious intentions often practice the subtle, sneaky art of manipulation. It's a strategy designed to alter another's perception or behavior, not through honest persuasion, but through deceit, coercion, or exploitation. Recognizing manipulation when you're faced with it is crucial, as it's a key trait of individuals who can be considered evil in their relational dealings. The nature of manipulation. Manipulation operates under the guise of normal interaction, making it particularly dangerous. It can take many forms: guilt trips to coerce action, gaslighting to sow self-doubt, or feigned helplessness to elicit sympathy and assistance. The manipulator's goal is always the same: to sway you into serving their needs or desires, often at your expense. Recognizing manipulative behaviors. Identifying manipulation requires attention to both the overt and the subtle. Manipulators often employ emotional leverage, playing on feelings of sympathy or obligation to get what they want. They may also twist facts and situations to their advantage, portraying themselves as the victim or denying wrongdoing even when confronted with evidence. Another common tactic is inconsistency, promising one thing and delivering another, or changing their stance based on what they stand to gain in the moment. The impact of being manipulated. The effects of manipulation can be deeply damaging. It can lead to self-doubt, as victims question their perceptions and decisions. Relationships may suffer under the weight of mistrust and resentment, as manipulative behavior erodes the foundation of honesty and mutual respect. Over time, the victim may feel drained, both emotionally and physically, as they navigate the constant demands and deceptions of the manipulator. Strategies to counteract manipulation. Empowerment against manipulation starts with awareness. Recognizing the signs is the first step. The next is asserting boundaries. Communicate clearly and firmly what is acceptable and what isn't, and stick to these boundaries even when pressured. Seek external perspectives when in doubt. Sometimes an outside view can clarify whether manipulation is occurring. Lastly, prioritize self-care and support from trusted individuals who affirm your reality and worth. Reflective questions. 1. Can you recall a situation where you felt manipulated? What signs did you notice? And how did you respond? 2.
All right, I'm going to put the link in again. You can watch the full video. played about 12 minutes. It's 25 minutes. 23 minutes. All data is being collected. You can't claim that this person is posting this video because they're doing it purposely to collect the data. You don't know. We don't know. They wanted to push us into the cyber world because you don't know anybody in the cyber world. It's a whole lot of people who are talk about putting on a mask and putting on a show, and and then you got the shady people who are actually working for the wrong side, and they are collecting data. But I don't even go there. I don't care. Because all data is being collected. Everything that you're doing here is being collected. We got ourselves trapped in this, and there's no out for us, unfortunately. I can't stand this technology, but it's what we have. You can't know anybody. And if you can't know anybody, you can't trust anybody. So, the one thing for me, one of the keys that I look for is consistency. Consistency. Consistency in personality, consistency in passion, consistency. Consistency on the issues. So, because when you see that people are consistent, you can loan them your trust. Loan. I don't even know, how to say, oh, you could trust somebody. But consistency is very important for me. It shows me that someone knows who they are if they're consistent. And I'm not talking about consistently hostile and, or consistently leaving these immature comments. I'm not talking about that. But when you find people who are, God, wow, and yep, the awake. One day, they're claiming this. The next day, they're claiming that. And I don't have any respect for that, and I can't trust that. Because they're all over the place, and they're just essentially full of shit. A whole lot is about themselves, and the inconsistency can also be a matter of approval. Oh, so they're with these people and they're behaving this way, and then they're behaving that way with these people. No trust for those people. So anyway, be safe. Be safe. This world is really, it's getting very difficult. It's just getting very difficult to just, for an awful lot of people. Some people aren't experiencing this, but I sure have. Every day, there are obstacles that I have to jump over. There are obstacles that create an awful lot of stress, and I'm so tired of it. But that's only going to get worse for all of us. And it's very hard to just maintain and maintain and maintain. I understand why people lose it, because it just gets too much. It's funny because I'm going in the opposite direction. And I have to wonder, and I have thought about this, why am I going in the opposite direction? Like, okay, now I've got to go back to Verizon, which I was there today. Now I've got to go back tomorrow. And I was there not only today, but I was there the day before. And then I was there for about 3 other days. Problem after problem after problem. And am I taking it in stride? I don't think so. I think I've been so pummeled that it's kind of like there's no point. You know, there's no point. Maybe I'm just really depressed and I just can't muster up much of the energy to get, you know, upset about it. But I also recognize that when you're in the corner and getting upset may only cause more problems for you. And I was never somebody that just laid down to take it. But this is our world. This is our world today. So try to maintain, you know, if you're feeling a lot of stress, just recognize whatever circumstance you're in. That a whole lot of this is purposeful, and you now may have to just deal with problem after problem after problem, and there's no way of getting around it. I hope I'm making sense. I think I'm just too tired. Okay, so I appreciate you all showing up. I hope to see you tomorrow night. Bring your best self to life. I will say this. I think about what I say at the end a whole lot throughout the day. And I do try. Sometimes it's hard, but it's the only way that we can manifest anything different from what we've got going now. And on that note, I say, live honestly, speak honestly, develop yourself as a trustworthy human being, make your word mean something, and yeah, good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.